After playing Sky Children of the Light, I had many unanswered questions, but most importantly, I wanted to know why I had to die endlessly. Through the game, you embark on a journey to restore light to this fallen kingdom in the sky. But beneath the game's surface, there seems to be a more profound meaning to your journey and your death. At the beginning of the game, you're soaring above the clouds, enveloped in this golden light, and suddenly you fall through the clouds into a kingdom shrouded in darkness. In the first cutscene, your character closely resembles the ethereal winged light. However, after you fall, your form shifts. It takes on a physical form more akin to the spirits that inhabit the kingdom. And this transformation is deeply symbolical and significant. It suggests that while you may be a celestial being, you must also take on the form of the world you are here to save. In many spiritual traditions, divine or enlightened beings descend into the material world and assume its form to lead its inhabitants towards salvation. In Christianity, for example, Christ takes on human flesh to redeem humanity. Your transformation in Sky mirrors this concept. You embody light, but to walk among the fallen and guide them towards redemption, you must take on their appearance. This idea of descent, or the need for divine beings to take on the form of those they wish to save, resonates with religious and philosophical traditions across many different cultures. In Christianity, angels are often depicted as messengers sent from the heavens to guide and protect humanity. The Sky Children seem to serve a similar purpose. They descend from the stars, not merely to explore, but to heal and redeem the world below. Your journey is not just a physical one, but also a metaphysical transformation, aligning you with those you are meant to save, while still carrying on the light of the heavens within you. Similarly, in Buddhism, bodhisattvas delays their final enlightenment to remain in the world of suffering, guiding others towards the light of wisdom. In Sky, you take a similar role. You, the Sky Child, are a being of light tasked with healing and guiding the lost souls of the kingdom back towards the light, offering them the possibility of redemption. The game's narrative draws a parallel between the fallen kingdom and various theological concepts of the fall. The kingdom, in Sky, was once radiant, filled with light and prosperity. However, its inhabitants became greedy and hoarded the light for themselves. This greed led to their downfall, plundering the kingdom into darkness. This narrative echoes the biblical story of the fall in the Garden of Eden, when Adam and Eve, through disobedience, are expelled from the paradise and humanity loses its state of grace. In Sky, the ancestors' greed serves as a form of original sin, a transgression that leads to eternal suffering and loss of connection to the light. However, you are different. You're not tainted by their greed. You come from a higher realm, much like an angel or a divine being. In Platonic thoughts, the soul descends into a material world from a divine realm, bringing truth or knowledge. Similarly, in Sky, you descend with a clear purpose to restore what was lost. And I think one of the most profound and important moments of the game occurs the Eye of Eden, where the Sky Children are required to sacrifice their light, their wings, and eventually their lives to restore the kingdom. This theme of sacrifice resonates deeply with spiritual and philosophical ideas. In Christianity, Jesus sacrifices his life for the salvation of humanity, offering atonement for the sins of the world. Similarly, in mythological traditions, divine beings endure suffering or death to renew or redeem the world. In Sky, your sacrifice at the Eye of Eden is not merely suffering, it is a necessary step for the kingdom's redemption. The Eye of Eden represents the ultimate test of selflessness. To pass through it, you must relinquish everything: your wings, your light, your life, everything. This idea echoes ancient themes of death and rebirth, found in various religious traditions. For example, in Egyptian mythology, the god Osiris dies and is resurrected, bringing new life into the world. Similarly, in Greek mythology, the god Dionysius is dismembered and reborn, symbolizing cycles of death and renewal. In Sky, your sacrifice leads to not permanent death, but rebirth. After losing your light and seemingly dying, your journey does not end. You are reborn, symbolizing both personal and collective renewal. This motif of rebirth after sacrifice is central to many spiritual traditions. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the cycle of death and rebirth, known as samsara, depicts the soul's journey towards enlightenment, with each rebirth offering a chance to ascend to a higher state. Your rebirth in Sky symbolizes both your own spiritual renewal and the redemption of the fallen kingdom. By sacrificing yourself at the Eye of Eden, you pave the way for the restoration of light and order in the kingdom. This renewal echoes the idea that true redemption and enlightenment come through selflessness and the willingness to give up everything. So I also had to ask myself, who are these Sky children? They are, in a way, celestial beings, possibly akin to angels or divine messengers, sent from the heavens to restore balance and light to the fallen world. Their journey is one of profound spiritual significance, a cycle of sacrifice, death, and renewal, offering redemption to those who have fallen into darkness. By guiding lost souls and sacrificing their own light, the Sky Children embody the timeless idea that redemption often requires profound personal sacrifice. Yet through that sacrifice, there is always the possibility of renewal and rebirth. But I mean, why can't you truly die? In a way, the inability to truly die, even after losing all your light, suggests that the game views death not as a final state, but as a transition or transformation. This aligns with recurring themes of sacrifice and renewal seen in many spiritual traditions, where death leads to rebirth. However, in Sky, this cycle of dying and being reborn may reflect a deeper form of punishment. The act of repeatedly losing and regaining light in the Eye of Eden can be seen as a form of cosmic retribution. You are, in a way, destined to go through the same cycle of regaining what was lost. This cyclical existence, where you repeatedly lose your light, die, and then return to life, may represent a form of spiritual purgatory. In some traditions, purgatory is a state where souls undergo purification through suffering before ascending to a higher state. In Sky, the inability to truly die keeps you in this cycle of sacrifice, reflecting a punishment where redemption must be earned through repeated acts of selflessness and sacrifice. And within this, winged light represents your power and divine essence. It plays a critical role in this cycle. As you lose your winged light during the Eye of Eden, you help restore the status of ancestors. Each restored statue rewards you with ascended candles, symbolic of the light's return and the possibility of redemption. The more winged lights you sacrifice, the greater your reward, which can later be used to enhance your abilities. This idea of light being lost and regained reflects both punishment and redemption. The people of the Sky Kingdom took their light for granted, leading to their fall. To restore the kingdom, you must give up your light, mirroring the ancient tradition of self-sacrifice as a means to attain renewal. However, the game suggests that it is not a one-time act. Each death and subsequent rebirth requires renewal effort, indicating that the punishment for taking the life for granted is a continuous cycle, perhaps until the kingdom is fully restored. And it's in Rebirth that I found one of the most touching moments, and it's when you encounter the glowing child of light after your death. This child, in a way, may represent your lost innocence or the pure light that you once embodied. Merging with the child after the hug symbolizes the reunification of your fallen self with the divine light, suggesting that redemption is possible. However, the merging and subsequent ascension are brief and your journey is far from over. In the last section of Eden, the statues you revived transform into Sky Children, who bow, wave goodbye, and ascend to become stars. This imagery mirrors many spiritual traditions where the ultimate reward for sacrifice and selflessness is to return to the heavens. In Christianity, this can be linked to the soul's ascension to heaven after atonement. In ancient Egyptian mythology, the soul ascends to the stars after death, joining the divine. However, for you, the Sky Child, the journey continues. The cycle of death, rebirth, and ascension suggests that you too are on a path towards eventual transcendence, but you have not yet fully achieved that. The notion that you can't truly die invites philosophical reflections on the concept of immortality. In many religions, immortality is seen as both a blessing and a burden. While it offers possibilities of eternal existence, it also requires continual moral or spiritual refinement. In Sky, this concept may be framed as both a punishment and a path to enlightenment. You are not allowed to reset, as a true death would represent an escape from the cycle of redemption. Instead, you are repeatedly reborn, forced to face the consequences of the fallen kingdom's greed, while serving as a catalyst for its restoration. And in this sense, Sky offers a very hopeful message. Through this eternal cycle of loss, sacrifice, and rebirth, there is always the possibility of redemption. Every time you die, you restore more of the kingdom's light, and with each rebirth, you bring the world closer to salvation. It's important to note that in a way, this punishment manifests an endless cycle of death, rebirth, and sacrifice. However, within this cycle lies the possibility of redemption. The game's mechanics, particularly in the Eye of Eden, symbolize a process of spiritual purification, where death is not the end but a necessary part of the journey towards restoring the light. Ultimately, your inability to truly die reflects a profound spiritual truth found in many traditions. Redemption is not a one-time event, but a continuous process. Through these repeated acts of selflessness and self-sacrifice, you slowly restore what was lost. And at the end, although you can't escape this cycle, each death brings the kingdom closer to its ultimate renewal.